Boom, bam, bing. Gratitude is simply the attitude.
When you're grateful, truly, not in your head, not I'm just saying it, not you feel it, it's the magnetism that comes with that. You start to draw in like frequencies. You just want someone to say, get on the flight and just stay in the thing nice.
Yeah.
When you fly to your destination, you don't want some turbulence.
Yeah.
For that moment, that was source, and you felt that source energy and you were like, I'm in this. That was the feeling.
Roadie, the one devotion, the place, and one of my favourite human beings on planet Earth, Mr. Craig David in the building. Zam.
See it there. Give it the love.
What is it?
Love, good. Love. We're back in the place where it all happens, right?
Love is
like it's nice.
Something that Craig gives so authentically. I think I've obviously grown up on your music. As a younger, I would see you on telly, I would listen to you on my Walkman and things like that. But when we start working together, there's a vibration and an authenticity that comes off you, which is so real.
Appreciate you, bro.
Like, no, it's like, that it's, regardless if I'd listen to you or not, it's just something very special to be around.
Same. Firstly, thank you, bro. Because it's I always wish that would be the vibe, you know? You walk into a space and it's like, you can get the real. Especially when you walk into creative spaces. I feel like all of the shine and the extras that come with, like the final mastering and the production and everything, that's there. But when you get into these spaces, it's like an inner sanctuary, right? And then you get a moment where you're like, yeah, you're real.
Yeah.
You're about this life, or you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I felt that when we got in.
Yeah,
I
mate.
knew, just the way you were patterned, when you, just the choice of drums. Tells you a lot about someone.
Come on, bro.
No. It was like they hit differently.
It's so nice to come across people that are just so authentic in a business which can feel very disingenuous, and you never know until you're in a space. And that's one of the things I love about making music. It's human.
Yeah, for real.
Like when you're doing shows, you can glitz and glamour, you can go radio, and you know what I mean. But studio, it's like it's equal.
Yeah.
You can be in your slides, I can be in my pajamas. Like, don't matter, we're human beings.
Real. It's like, it's nice when you see people who you haven't met in that capacity before.
Yeah.
And you just say, wow, we're getting a whole completely different side, because you could be in awe of someone like on stage and their live performance, and you just see rock up and they're just talking about what they ate in the morning and
human.
What they're dealing with. You're like,
yeah, totally.
It connects on a different level. And I feel that then you appreciate them more when you see them then do their thing. You're
Absolutely.
like, oh my God, you go into mode, right?
Absolutely.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, the studio, I'm so blessed to be in this scenario a lot, because like I say, you do really feel like you get the real person. But we're going to go into all that energy soon. But there's something I need to tell the world about Craig that I don't think people know. Firstly, someone just rang my front doorbell. Welcome to 2024.
That's it. You need to answer that one.
It's probably vintage. My
delivery.
son's obsessed with vintage, you know. Garms, you won't know about vintage, I've
got the vintage still from the time.
See it there.
There's a difference. We have that, you know, you have to go back. You still got it in the cupboard. You have to say, Mum, you know that VC jacket that's in the thing?
Is it still there?
Yeah. We're going to pull that one back out again.
Big up my son, you done know. Toddla T. He does all the designs. Big up my youth. But anyway, back to the point being, something that people need to know about Craig that I don't think is shared enough is his knowledge, passion, and pure wisdom about reggae and sound system culture.
That's right.
You see this guy, yeah?
Wow.
But when we're making tune and we're referencing tune, he'll draw for the deepest dub.
Bro, you know when we talk sound system, all I remember, if we wanted to cast it right back, do you remember on Radio 1 there'd be Rodigan, there'd be Goldfinger. Rodigan would Kiss, but there'd be Goldfinger on Radio 1, so that you'd be in that. But living in Southampton, sound system, the sound systems from anywhere was like, it was like the Mecca for me. To know about, I don't know, Addis and Black Cat and Kilimanjaro and all these sounds when you're like the real one.
Yeah.
And then knowing when Ricky Trooper tried to do his own thing and you're just like, it was just different, you know what I mean? But and you're just like how much of a mic man he was. The appreciation for that whole culture is it's just funny that I entered it from a slightly different trajectory. So when I did my thing, it was like garage and the R&B and it was that. So when we talk about it, a lot of people are like, how's he, you know, R&B boy or garage boy, how do you know about these ones? I'm like, bro, trust me.
But the thing is, it's all birthed out of that anyway. Like the whole thing comes from sound system culture, you know?
And I think it's very, for those who know the culture, for those who know the sound and the vibration, when they heard Craig David garage, they say, yeah, adapt.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
It's directly from that lineage
100%.
of music.
It's so deep rooted because it sort of stems across fond memories of be getting in my dad's car. Them times, I remember he had a few cars, but the one time when he had a Sierra Cosworth, my guy was moving differently. I had to say, Dad. When I look back now, I'm like, with the spoilers on the back, if you know about Sierra Cosworth, yeah, shit, the car was moving different. Jump in, and the first thing you'd hear was some reggae hits, volume whatever, or you'd be hearing ragga. So I'd be, just those times were just like, were sacred to me, because it was like, my dad would pick me up on a Sunday, we'd go and see his parents, and he'd always be playing reggae music. So and then you just find the sound system guy, and you'd be like, man, how do you get that sound to do that? And you'd be looking for the piece of equipment, one Bose pedal, with the delay correctly. You know what I mean? You gotta find it. How do you get the mic to do? Yeah. All right. You're just trying to find it, and you're just watching it. It's just a vibe, man.
A complete vibe. It all goes back to that space, but a lot of us, rightly so, don't even necessarily know or need to know, right? Because we're in the moment. But what I'm trying to say is, you talk about a Ricky Trooper and a Kilimanjaro, you were deep in the culture. What about buying records?
Oh, I mean, see, the thing is, from Southampton, I had to come up to London. These are times where my mum would come with me on the train, and we'd end up, so it was kind of a mixture of what kind of records I was going for. So I'd be going to like Derby Street for Soho Records and to buy R&B and hip hop. And then you'd be in Brixton at Red Records, so you'd be able to get all the reggae and ragga stuff that was going on there. And then there was one guy up the road that, if anyone knows, they know. There's one guy, he had like a small shop, nothing on the front. You go in, and he was the guy. I think I spoke to Rampage about this, and the guys were saying it was probably one of us that was actually doing the dubs and cutting them. Because you come out and you get, I don't know, Beanie Man over some of the 702 Stilo. Like a mashup of two it
worlds.
just was right.
Yeah.
Them Aviate things they used to do, but they had the right cuts. You go home with these and you just couldn't wait. These times I wanted to be a DJ, so when I got the chance to play them out, people were like, where you get that? And it was like Panini stickers, as we said before we got into this.
Swap.
You swap in. You give me 3 of those for this one.
Beautiful.
You know what I mean? It's such a wholesome thing. Dancehall and sound system culture.
Finding the moments in places that take a bit of commitment and time. I used to ring up Blackajed from Sheffield, same experience. I've got £3, what have you got?
Wicked.
Yeah, and Hang-Type Foxes in Sheffield.
Foxes Records, legendary.
You go in there, there's Bangor DVDs, there's stuff you get to borrow, and they'll just play a rhythm for you. And it's not a conventional way of buying
it's not
anything, is it? Walking into a video shop and going, hi.
I feel like those shops were kind of like our Blockbuster before Blockbuster.
See it there, bro.
100.
Do you know what I mean? But it's all right if I can just hold that over the weekend. Yeah, man, all right, run that. It's like,
Do you know what's
just
funny?
bring it back in.
You're touching on something that's so springing. I'm there again, because in Southampton we had like one shop that kind of was more drum and bass, but they would always have something under the counter, something to play. One dancehall tune or one ragga tune or wasn't. The speaker, they just sound crispy. It wasn't blasting, it wasn't too loud, it was just, the tops were so crispy, like any sound system it was just like you got your own dedicated box for your tops and your mids and your bass. It was just crisp. And when you put it on and you heard that, just the crackle, and a man take out the cellophane and place it, that experience for me is something that I kind of wish that I could give to another generation to experience, because it was just so wholesome. The vibes, you know what I mean?
Totally.
So,
Real.
You know, there's the sound tapes, there's the dubs. I want to talk about versions, because we have done a rhythm called Gratitude Is That Attitude. And the way that was born was super organic. I was learning keys more intensely at the time. My man sent me a voice note which included the phrase, gratitude is the attitude. Everything just went zoom down, bing bong, process finish.
that's wicked.
Right?
Organic.
I love that.
And we're now cutting versions all the time, because I grew up in the same space of going and buying versions. So a version, for them that don't know, is essentially a song on the same beat multiple times. And I used to love it. I used to love getting versions. I used to love juggling them in the rave. And I used to love that the artist would paint a different picture on that canvas.
Absolutely.
It doesn't really happen anymore just due to technology and the way we consume music. But that's one of the reasons I wanted to send this rhythm out, to send the gratitude far and wide and let people have a canvas to do what they want on it.
Genuinely, bro, like the whole feel that you're creating with Gratitude, the attitude, is not only kind of giving you the feels from back then, but I feel it's actually setting a new precedent of where it can go. Because across the board, be it's dancehall, be it's R&B, be it's pop, imagine and you're doing it. This is what I'm saying, right? It's not old school. It's not old, it's just it's something that was like almost like sacred wisdom that you just need to bring back to the masses. To give it out, and rather than people doing a remix over here of one tune and someone did a remix over there and it's a bit scattered, the difference with those times with when a rhythm was actually put together, there was a compilation and it was in one place. So you could hear okay, let's do it for R&B. You could hear an Usher cut, you'd hear a Chris Brown cut, you'd hear some next guy do a cut, you'd be like, it's in one place.
Yeah.
And the instrumental's there just in case you wanted to do it yourself too. So I feel like what you're doing is actually bringing back something that's such an important part of culture in a new way.
Yeah.
And I'd like to feel that you do that for all your releases.
Yeah.
That's what would be wicked. To say, no, send them in, keep sending. And the thing is, we'll compile it to a thing.
Yeah.
It's wicked, bro.
Thank you, bro. I think the bit of history behind the version was that back in the day in Jamaica, there was a couple producers.
Right.
They made the rhythm. They have one cut, you go to a sound system, you plonk it on the needle, and then everyone has a go.
Yeah, for real.
And then the person who has the biggest tune get the forward, which is what we have in grime, what we have in jungle, all of those things. And then occasionally we then cut the song and make it an actual tune. But it comes from a lack of kind of technology and a lack of means in a way.
Yeah,
you get it like, right, there's one producer, there's one mic, everyone have a go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's, in a way, it's simplifying the process.
It's nice though, because it feels like a shared experience.
Sit there.
Have a go, I'll have a go. Yo, 2 bars, 2 lyric, sing on it. You know, it's a shared, it's proper shared experience.
It's real,
I'll give
right?
thanks for Toddla for that as well.
Do you not find that it just might be the way in which it's received is different now? So you do an open verse challenge on TikTok.
Yeah.
Would be what you would try to create with doing a version.
Exactly.
So it's just morphed into a slightly different thing.
Yeah.
But I totally agree with you, the beauty of the different varieties and styles. I mean, back in the day, you'd hear a Sanchez, and there'd be a Beres Hammond, but then there'd be Marcia Griffiths, but then you'd have a Buju, and a Bounty, and it would be a Sizzler. And you'd be like, ooh. And then they started to do it on hip-hop rhythms.
Yeah.
So then that became, so I feel like it's so fresh, the sentiment of it.
It's funny because that's it. To me, it's something we grew up on, but it's like I wanted to just relive that moment. But then with the phrase as well, the One Devotion just ran with an accident. It's just where I'm at a little bit in life as well. And Craig, you're someone, like I said earlier, is so authentically kind and brings such a great energy. That's one of the reasons I wanted to have you here today. It's just like how living that existence, like it's easy for someone to say gratitude is the attitude or start practicing certain methods. But as someone who's been at the forefront of entertainment for so long and is still such a beautiful soul, right?
You, bro.
How, like, I need some wisdom from you, bro, because
wow. Do you know what? It's a caring, sharing community, bro. It goes beyond music and beyond the thing that you do. I feel like it's instilled early doors from your parents. But I think there's something innately inside of you that if you deep it, it's actually just how we all relate. Like, I'm grateful for the first breath when I wake up in the morning, to be able to to wake up and then deep what's going on in the life, in the moment. Not like yesterday or tomorrow. And then I walk in and I got lovely people that I meet, people that I care about in my life. I get to meet new people. And then I come down, I sit here, and we get to express and talk about it. So I'm just grateful for those things. And it's actually, if you want to then get scientific slightly with it, it is actually an energy. When you're grateful, truly, not in your head, not I'm just saying it, not you feel it, it's the magnetism that comes with that. You start to draw in like frequencies, like vibes, and it becomes like, oh my God, like this is just happening. That's because it's an internal job.
Yeah.
So you have to actually be about it. It's like you have to embody it. It's not like I said, it's not a head thing. Like you can say it and it's like an affirmation, that's cool. But until you deep it.
Yeah. That's exactly what I have been trying to do for years, but recently I've seen it come to fruition. So for example, like for years, people would say gratitude is a great thing to practice every day. So I'd be walking to the studio or something, I'd think, I've got to think of something good. Something like that, right? And almost forcing it rather than a moment happening and stopping and reflecting on it. It could be the simplest moment. It could be just opening the door for someone and they'd say, thank you, or whatever, right? And then going, oh, lovely. Carry on.
Yeah.
And that takes time. And like you say, scientifically, energies, brain rewiring. It has massive beneficial effects. It's not just a buzzword.
Yeah, of course.
You know what
and
I
it's
mean?
been running for
For
forever.
centuries, even in ancient times, we know, ancient African spirituality, the Stoics, the sages.
Yeah.
They all had this aura of understanding just to give thanks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that now, it's become a lifestyle.
Yeah,
Well, this
for
is
real.
the thing.
So
It's a
true.
real lifestyle.
When I speak to my Jamaican friends, one of the first things they say, I'll be like, what's going on, bro? They'll be like, yeah, man, we just rise and give thanks.
Give thanks,
I think
yeah.
that's so beautiful,
Yeah. It's because it's like it's embodied. It's different. I think you look at someone like Bob Marley as an example, someone who embodied that.
Yeah.
It's like I'm changing the world through my voice, and I'm using it to help and change the dynamics that I'm experiencing, but always giving thanks.
Yeah.
But always giving thanks, and it's so simple. That's why people say thank you for when before they eat a meal, or just give it that. The gesture alone sets the thing off. Then it starts to become the embodiment of it. And I feel that what is there not to be thankful for? Life is going to present things that are going to throw you off kilter. That's life. We came here to experience what duality is, black and white, up, down, left, right, good, bad. How do you know what's good if you don't know what bad is?
Right.
Yeah, it's just they're just different. It's like I always use the example like a magnet. It's like you can keep shaving off parts to say like, yeah, but I want to keep it positive. It's the magnet it has the both polarities. We came to experience it. If you can get in the middle and be like, when we're on a high, okay, this is cool, it's nice. And when we're on a down thing and that can be heavy, you're like, it is, I'm here. And you don't kind of get you don't make yourself too polarized. Like when we're on a high, everything's great, because when they get to the low, the thing hits differently.
Facts.
So you just sort of stay in it. And I think that's gratitude, is to be grateful. Like, again, we're all here, we're alive, we're all going to have things to deal with. But man, as long as your health is wealth, I think I'd say is one of the biggest gratitude things to have.
Interestingly enough, you just touched upon the kind of the balance we need to have when we are, very high and when we are very low. How do you, tools do you, exercise to kind of, in those low moments?
To run with.
Yeah, to kind of run with.
I love that, Deborah. Do you know what? It's only through experience. Like, we all have a different way of experiencing what would be a low and what would be a high. I'd say for music, a good example would be when I used to define success by how many numbers, so how many copies you sold at one point, then it would move into how many streams have you done, then it would be, are you top of the charts? And you start to learn, if you define yourself as the number, you're in for a rocky road. You're in for now you're playing the game.
Yeah.
Talk about Matrix, you're playing the game. You play the game because it's you're never gonna win. You know what I mean? It's like, you can never be top of the Premier League. Someone has to. Someone has to. So what on when you're second, does that mean that you haven't had a good season? And I feel like that was the difference. We're saying, look, we appreciate like number one, win the race, but then someone else says, yeah, you know what, just participate in your winner. And then but then people fight back and say, yeah, but it ain't the ones who participate who win the game, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But if you're playing, if you move yourself back a bit, just a little breath, breathe, and come back from the game. You're like, oh, it is a game.
Yeah.
So then we don't take the thing too serious. And then it becomes like, I can see it. And then you feel like, oh, we are all connected, and we're how you want to interact with the game. So that was a big one for me. It's like, now I look at things as putting a song out. The feeling I got when I made the song is a feeling I hope people have from the song, not what doesn't need to be defined by the number. Because things actually, when they're meant to happen, you want to divinely, something might not need to be now, or it might be a part of the puzzle for something that's 3 years later. So you putting the puzzle together, or you want to just go, give me the puzzle pieces, bam, there's the picture. Did you know? Well, I kind of enjoy putting the pieces in to get to the final.
The process.
The process is often more enjoyable than the actual moment, in my experience. Anyway,
My guy.
making tune is so amazing. And then you put it out and it's exciting, but it wasn't half as exciting as that bit when you wrote that lyric and I pressed that kick drum.
What? you can feel. See, we're in it already. You can feel it. When you heard that, the bass started coming different. You're like, yo. And then you have this for a moment before it gets techie. Your mind will try and make it techie. It loves to. But you know, I mean, how's it gonna fit in? And what's happening out there? And who's gonna like it? Who's the demographic? And how do we? For that moment, that was source, and you felt that source energy, and you were like, I'm in this. that was the feeling. Now, if you can try and embody that and stretch it out a bit more in life, you start moving like that. And it just becomes you're just a walking bass line.
Feel it, you know. Vibration, straight.
Real talk.
Straight,
That's
man.
amazing, because that's
Real
kind of
talk.
what you've kind of said it. It's like you've been doing this for time, and those studio moments are priceless, right?
Everything.
But then it gets techie. That's life. And it's like, how do you regain that kind of love and self-belief in the art? Like you say, it's like just holding on to that minute when you did that thing. It's interesting talking about the highs and lows, because I used to live my life like this, because I'd DJ at weekend and go absolutely mental, and then spend till Thursday getting right again, and up and down and up. And when I decided that I couldn't live like this anymore, and I stopped drinking, and I really got on this more straight path, is what you call it, I actually initially found it quite boring. Because even though the lows were low, they were still distracting, and they were still giving me some sorts of sensories, and the highs were great. But the middle ground, I was like, what, is that it? And what I had to learn to do is live in the middle and not be like this, and just appreciate things that might be a bit smaller and a bit less synthetic, or a bit less like fake in terms of like how I got my highs, and just notice little things that are really cool. And then the lows are way not half as low, and you just start appreciating things like that. And I have friends who are like me, and they're like, yeah, but it's boring. And I'm like, it's not. It just takes the time to rewire what boring is, and what high is and what low is. Because trust me, that bit there is way more comfortable than that there. Think of it as a flight.
100.
Turbulence.
Sit there.
Turbulence.
You want a smooth flight, right?
It's all right. A smooth flight's all right.
Everything you just said, it's like it's using like metaphors or anecdotes, stories like that land for people. Because sometimes you can pick up the most spiritual book what's got like the most eloquent ways of saying things, and it's very articulate, and it feels like you have to have a PhD in metaphysics, and you just want someone to say, get on the flight and just stay in the thing nice. When you fly to your destination, you don't want some turbulence.
Yeah, bro.
And that is it. And then you start to find that highs will come, lows will come, but the impact of them is different on your central nervous system. It's not so hectic. But again, you've got to live it. So I'm always a bit like with people, like people lean in when they're ready to lean in. You just lead from example. But if someone needs to go and do the mad thing, do the mad thing. Because I had to do the mad thing and learn.
Absolutely.
Do the thing where you just move it wild, and then you'll learn. And then you'll have your low, and you'll be like, whoa, this low is this is so dark, and I didn't even know this existed. That you start to check yourself and you say, no, I don't want that again. And you start to find
exactly. It's easy to spurt all this as someone who's basically been through that and figured out a way that I personally can make it work. Might not work for you might, whatever. So you're right. I mean, living through experience is something that is almost a must. Like you say, you can't have you can't experience darkness to feel the light. You can't, you know what I mean? But it's just a case of working it out yourself. But I do think that what I've been trying to do recently has been super effective, which is just way more thinking of the glasses.
The glass is
half full.
Half full.
Half
Yeah, man.
empty,
Like, and honestly, it's because of what you said, bro. Gratitude is the attitude.
Gratitude is attitude.
Yeah. And that's because I always thought that meant having to go, right, I've got to be grateful for summer. I've got to, because it's made me feel better. Nah, brother. You just think certain things, just stop and take in how brilliant it is.
Yeah.
And it was that in that moment, you know, we were in the midst of planning, you know, the Sheffield All-Stars rhythm.
Nice.
Produced by Toddla T, of course, and the cream of the crop of Sheffield, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I spoke to one of the artists, and I was like, brother, we would love you to be involved.
Right.
And just his energy alone just infused
the whole thing.
that into me.
Right.
So I was like, brother, that it just felt right. It was just the moment, and I had to share it. That's the thing about gratitude. I think you want to pass it on.
You felt the vibes, and that swelled something inside of you that you wanted to then share that with someone else. It's so important that embodying it and feeling it, because it's just not a thinking thing, you know? It's like vibes are, you're about, okay, if you eat something that you like, you don't have to tell someone about it. You don't have to explain it out or even trying to fool yourself, right? You're just like, this thing tastes wicked. I don't really need to. It just
proper.
is what it is, right? And the fact is that you want to share it. Everyone wants to be seen. That's the thing that all of us, if someone's seen, in any format, it doesn't matter. If you're making music, if you're posting online, if you're walking down the street, if you're doing your job, somewhere along the line, you're trying to be seen for someone to say, well done, you've done the thing, you've done well. There's a point at which when you can have, just moving the pendulum a bit further, is to have great gratitude for what you've already done for you. So then you're not also looking for an authority to tell you did well today.
Validate that.
So that could be your parents at one point, and then you're looking for your boss at work to tell you that you did, or it could be when you put the music out now, you got to tell me, is it any good that I've done? If you can start to remove a bit of that and be like, because it's going to come at you, it's going to try and test you. It's just that you want to let people feel and be seen.
Absolutely. You know what's another one as well is like guilt of gratitude. This is a mad one. So like sometimes I think I don't deserve certain things in a life because there's so many people around me and lower than me and have had worse cards dealt and all of that. So there was a period of time where it's like I shouldn't feel happy about having all this. Right. Do you get it? I think in some communities they say survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, why am I up and my friend went to prison and all of that? Or he did that. And I had to kind of shed that off as well because there's always a layer below and above, right? Yeah. And what we tend to do as well as a society, I think we look above for kind of validation and also he's got that, why haven't I got that? Or why is she streaming more than me and all these things when really where I am is great. And even though I'm way up more than other people, me feeling bad about that is not really doing anything good for anyone, I don't think.
For real. It's like, why would you want to not only put yourself through that, but secondly, it's a mechanism, right? It's like when you people please. Yeah? Right. You're trying to, again, it's back to being seen. I want to be seen. So if I can humble myself down to this level, maybe people will like me. Maybe people will accept me. If you don't do the thing like accept what it is that's happening, maybe everyone will be like, we can be friends here. You get to a point where one is a drain, and two, the reality of things start to kick in. That ultimately, I use my own example was like when Born to Do It went, and it went from walking up Southampton High Street to now man's doing three nights at Wembley Arena, and life has changed. And even friends that I were walking up the high street who would come and say hi, they're now coming to ask for a picture. I'm like, bro, you live on the same, you live in the council block down the road from me. This is a mad thing. So I think something's changed, right? But I ended up humbling the greatness of what was happening. I was like, this is too much to comprehend. And it's not an ego thing of like, oh, you tell the world. It was just, I was trying to, you're still great from the estate, from Holyrood Estate. Stay down because you want people to be calm with you. But the outside was that you're not from the state anymore. You're not there. And everything, this swell, it's like pulling back the arrow. And then when it finally goes at like 1,000 miles an hour down the thing, you're now surprised. Right. You were pulling it back, doing all the work, doing all the thing. Now the thing's flinging down the road, you want to try and rein it back in. No, let's keep it calm.
That's mad.
It's gone. Yeah. And when you embrace that, it's actually not an ego-driven thing. It's actually accepting the greatness that is happening. It's like God's giving you a gift and you're trying to say, nah, I don't want it now. It's like, bro, what do you want then?
Yeah, no,
you did the thing, but now you don't want to you don't want the gift that I'm giving you. And it's actually then puts you in a power position to help people, not to make people feel less. They're inspired by you. Yeah. They want to be like you. They want to understand how you did it. And you can share your wealth with people. That's what real power is. Some people, they don't get that. They get ahead of themselves, too hyper. And now they've got the power. They want to suppress everyone. And it becomes conquer and divide. We're moving out of that phase. People ain't about that life. You bring everyone together. You don't even want to get religious with the thing. Jesus, he had 12 disciples, Man wasn't rocking it solo. He's like, I need my crew.
Gang biz.
Look at any religion, there's always a crew that comes through, You need community, you need foundation. You need walking bass lines.
What's your phrase? Collectiveness is?
Effectiveness.
See there?
You've got the album titles for the
but you got rhythms
all the
for
rhythms
years.
Trust me.
No, it's true.
They thought they had Showtime rhythm. No.
Effectiveness. That is true. I always found that really beautiful about Jamaican and Rasta culture. of like, we are here to do works and we are here to spread message. Bob's a good example, did it through his music.
Yeah.
And it's always about like, it's bigger than we.
Yeah, it's to be of service, innit? It's to be of service to others.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And that just pays us in its own way.
100. Did you find that
Do you know what I
even
mean?
like coming, both you being Sheffield, coming down to London, that there were almost like there was gifts that you were given in Sheffield that you were bringing down here to then bring back to Sheffield?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And gifts from Sheffield to London.
To London, yeah.
Right.
Both, yeah. So it's a two-way transition, you know? So I come down here and I would definitely use like gifts from back home and cultural kind of teachings and whatnot. But then when I went back, yeah, 100%. Like I know how lucky I am to be sat here now with you. You know what I mean? Because Sheffield people, it's hard to. Sheffield's a tough place to break from. Like, and I got dealt some great cards at some great times, and it's landed to me where I'm sat right now. But it's my duty to then take some of them back up north.
100. And your duty to be able to wake up and say, like, and I know again, like people can get a bit funky with this because they think it's an ego thing. Park the ego for a second. Just let it just relax from it, like a barking dog. You just sit in the corner for it.
Corner.
Get into salt. Just it's like a barking dog. Your mind is like that. It's yapping and running, and you're just like, it doesn't know anything different. Okay, just park yourself up. Just you eat some of this thing over and just comes. Is that you can say, I'm good.
Yeah.
I am good, and own it. Not, I'm going to par it off to someone else. I'm going to say that thing over there happened, and that's what we always are in the grace of the universe aligning things for us. But you have to meet the universe halfway. It's like you want to win the lottery, but you don't want to go buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
So you had to go through the hardships in Sheffield. You had to go through the good things that were in favour. You had to make the choices. Every choice you made landed you to then, okay, I'm going to go to London. You had a choice to come here, turn up and not even go back to Sheffield. You didn't. You went back to bring those gifts. So you talk about gratitude. You were walking the attitude. The attitude. Hey, man,
New version.
No, I hear that.
But you owned it, and I think that's the beauty of what you're now creating, because you're now starting to see that all of this were a multitude of choices that you made, and now look at the space that you've created here, and then yet you're still being able to touch home base and bring everyone through. That's blessings. That's real gratitude, because you're grateful for the blessings that were bestowed on you, and you also accept the things that weren't so good. They paved you. I think you get wisdom from those things.
100%. And by T being able to, hone his gifts and his character and his skill set, being able to pour back into Sheffield. There are loads of us that are just eternally grateful for just the time, the wisdom. That actually pours into our practice.
Wicked.
There, where we have to pay it forward now.
Yes.
Full circle, man.
Full circle things.
man.
See?
I have nothing to say.
That.
I feel like the slam dunks from the One Devotion and Craig on the gratitude has left me speechless. It's beautiful, man. Brother, you're a beautiful soul.
No, it's love. I love you. Love you, brother.
Proper, man.
Now, serious,
Proper.
this is wholesome. Everything's all meant to be, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm grateful that I could be part of this.
Big
I've got
CD.
nothing but love for you.
Beautiful spirit. Southampton and Sheffield in a London town. Gratitude is the attitude. Remember the rhythm track. Go spin it round. Version, style and fashion. We don't know how the thing set. Till next time. Gita!
Gita!